How we doing tonight? Welcome in $2 to Deuce's episode number 49. It's Wildcard Weekend, and we appreciate you joining us on a Thursday evening. This is a Toilets to Titles production. I am Nate Wallen. You can find me on Twitter at Nate_Dirt19. As always, I'm joined by my pal Rich at FreedomBandito_FF. What's cooking, buddy?
NFL season is over as far as regular season, and now it's the time to have fun, do a little playoff drafts, get to talk about all kinds of stuff, man. As much as I love the football season, man, every year the off season and the playoffs get even better and better to where it's so much more enjoyable now all year long.
No, I don't know about that for me, but I mean, it's okay. I'll get back. I'm over it, I think. It was a rough weekend for all of us. Well, Rich already knew they weren't making the playoffs, but anyways. Abe at MVINFF on Twitter. What's up, buddy?
Hey, it's good to be back. I missed out last week. Definitely under the weather. Still got a little bit of a cough, so if you see me bail out every once in a while, that's what I'm doing is hacking my lungs out still. But it's good to be back. I'm excited for Wildcard Weekend. I think this is one of the most fun weekends of the year. Usually, as a Packers fan, we have a lot to either sit and watch and prepare for. But obviously this year we will be sitting on the sidelines with a lot of other teams. So that's a little different for me from what we're used to, but it's all right. We still got some good football weeks left before we head into the postseason or head into the off season.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. Well, when you fucking stink, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs. So
no, we didn't deserve to be there at all. That was my only saving grace all week long. Like after the game, I was just like, wow, this sucks. But then you sit there and think like, hey, 5 weeks ago we were 4-8. We didn't deserve to be here anyways. So that was my saving grace. But
well, when you're dog shit on third down, you're dog shit in the red zone. I mean, you're not gonna fucking win, no matter who you're fucking playing.
Nope.
Their defense is not good. They haven't been good. We made them look really good. I think we converted like five or 8 first downs in 2 games against them and scored 35 points.
25
16
points. 16-9. We scored 25 points against the Lions in 2 games.
Yeah, the Carolina Panthers put up 35 points in 1 week against them.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic.
Yeah, well, whatever. We don't need to talk about it. I'm over it. We stink. As always, you can check us out. Oh, check us out on Twitter. Sorry, at Toilets Titles. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Facebook, Twitch. If you're listening to us on YouTube, we would appreciate you hitting the like and subscribe button. We still have a ton of off-season content getting ready. There's a group of guys going to the Senior Bowl, so there'll be a ton of stuff coming from that pre-draft. We got a new show that's going to be debuted. Is it this Saturday or next? I think it's next Saturday.
Next, I think.
So that'll be fun. We'll let you in on that when it gets closer. And if you're on Apple, listen to us on Apple, we'd love a 5-star review. That'd be much appreciated. Check out toilets2titles.com. All the latest articles, videos, all our NFL and fantasy content is on there as well. Check that out. You guys been busting their rear ends, making it good because it's pretty awesome. Patreon.com/toilets-titles. Check that out. Tons of stuff still going on. Chat's still lively. And check in our playoff league. I don't know. You might have time. If you DM us tonight or maybe early tomorrow, they'll probably get you in. But I think our deadline usually like sometime end of the day, Friday maybe, because we need to make sure everybody's paid up and we're all ready to go for Saturday. But yeah, if you got time, get in. It's a blast.
Get into that league. That league is a lot of fun. So
it's $15 and it's a good time, and like I said, you're not out till it's over.
No, I can speak from experience last year.
Yeah, it's a good time. I try to get. I got a lot of people into this year but there's still some people that didn't. And if you want to, holler at me, Rich, anybody. Abe can help you out too. We can get you in the right direction. So,
Abe, where did you finish at last year?
I think second, and I think I was last going into the conference championship weekend.
I know. Before the Super Bowl, you were like 15th or something because I was like 4th.
Well, I shot up the last 2 weeks. So the conference championship weekend, I shot up a ton, and then Super Bowl, I shot up to I think second is what I got.
Yeah, and this year we are doing 4 IDP players too. So Even makes it a lot more interesting.
Is it 3 or 4?
Four positions. You got one position you could play defensive end or lineman. You could play linebacker. Oh, you know what? Maybe it is 3.
It's 3.
Yeah, I think it's 3. Lineman, linebacker, and secondary.
Yep.
And I feel like the kicker's in there too. Oh yeah, I'm pumped. I'm glad I was going to ask you if JR wanted to join us. I'm glad he is.
Yes. Nice.
Now
we can't give any of our picks away. So
have you guys set your lineup yet?
Nope.
I have
mine set and ready.
Yep. I've changed it about 3 times since, but mine's set.
I haven't yet. I will. I just, I'll wait till tomorrow. That's usually when I do it, like the day before. Quick thought, boom, put it in, don't change it. That's how you gotta do it.
Me and Keegan, that's what we were doing earlier. We were going through kind of strategizing, and he was like telling me who he was got, and I was trying to give him some insight and stuff like that because it's a little bit different when you're doing something like this. And I was telling him about a certain strategy I got going on. He goes, "Oh, I never thought about it that way."
There's a lot of strategy into it. There's a ton of strategy. I wish I would have remembered what my strategy was last year. It was successful. So this year I'm probably going to get second to last.
Better than last.
Yeah.
So I had a pretty good weekend last weekend. It was fun. It was when I was adding all this stuff up, I was like, shit, we're all done. None of us survived the survivor pool. I'm not even going to talk about that crap. But Abe and I were both 11-5 last week to get us up close to Rich's number. Rich was only 7-9, but it didn't matter because he kicked our ass the last month. So Rich was the champion, 133, 131, and 7. So he was over 500 even.
What do I get for that? I mean, feeling kind of pretty good here.
I mean, I don't really have much for you.
we got to get if we keep going on with, we got to get like a crown that we can mail to each other for each year as we win it and stuff.
We need like a WWF belt.
Yeah, we need a belt or something. Yeah, something we can really just like.
Yeah, the belt would be the best. If we can we'll have to get one. I finished
done.
4 games behind Rich. I was 129, 135, and 7. And Abe was 124, 140, and 7. So we were all pretty close. I was hoping I was going to be over 500, but I just missed it. So that's okay. And then we'll talk about our confidence pool we've been doing too with our 5 favorite bets. Rich also won that. Big surprise.
Hey, I'm not going to take credit for that because Abe fell sick the last 3 weeks, so maybe I won by default, but I'll take that.
Hey, the Seahawks out in the playoffs, so you won. It's like the same thing.
That's right. Take credit.
Abe was a point behind him at 38.5, and I was at 37 points. So the fact that Abe didn't fill it out the last couple weeks because he was sick really helped us out and made us seem like a lot closer race. Really skewed the numbers. Because he was.
Thank you, Abe. Thank you very much.
Whipping our ass. Yeah. All right, let's get into the good stuff. The first snoozer of the week. This should be the Lions, I think, because it probably would have been. They would have given them a little bit of a better of a game. I mean, the fact that there's 3 spreads that are almost 10 points and one that's higher than that is kind of odd. But there's a lot of guys not playing this weekend. Whether they're the guys that are hurt, but I think it's 3:30 our time, Saturday afternoon game. Seahawks traveling south to play the 49ers. 49ers are favored by 9.5 points at home. Rich, you can go first. You're the lone man here.
Yeah, look, I know the 49ers are 9.5, but I mean, these are 2 divisional teams playing each other and stuff. They just played each other. Was it last week that they played? 2 weeks ago and stuff like that. And it was only an 8-point game and everything. So, look, divisional game, there's still going to be a close one. I don't know, man. It might be a blowout. I get 9.5, but I'm taking Seahawks. Playoffs games are a lot more closer in the playoffs.
You think the Seahawks are going to win?
No.
Okay.
No,
okay.
I'm not picking them to win. I'm picking them to cover the spread.
If you want to, that's fine. Abe?
I'm going with the 49ers. It'll be interesting to watch Brock Purdy in his first playoff game. I know that he's shined, his 6 or 7 weeks that he's played. But it'll be interesting to go into and see and watch him kind of play in the playoffs. Now it's if you lose, you're done. So there's a little bit more pressure on the Mr. Irrelevant. So I just think the 49ers are playing way too good. That Seahawks game Sunday, I really don't know how they got in. I mean, I don't understand. to kind of, I don't want to dwell on last weekend too much, but I don't understand how DK Metcalf doesn't get flagged after he did what he did.
And Jalen Ramsey shouldn't have got a penalty.
No, he shouldn't have got that penalty. And then DK, grabbed his face mask and then headbutted him. And there's no penalties for that. I couldn't understand that. I don't think the Seahawks, talk about a team that was playing really well the first half of the season and then has really taken a downturn. That is Seattle. These teams are going in two completely opposite directions. And so I have the 49ers covering 9.5. I didn't look at this, but it's one thing we definitely should pay attention to is even 49ers, they're probably -5.5 in the first half. Because San Francisco has done a good job of going out and getting the lead on teams. There's some props in this game I like. I like CMC over 71.5 rushing yards. He's played really well. I like Elijah Mitchell over 41.5 rushing and receiving combined. I think that they're going to run the rock a ton. And I don't know if CMC is going to play the whole entire game because I think this game's going to be, a 2 to 3 score game quite a bit. And then I like Kittle over his receiving yards. I think it's like 44.5 or something. I don't, my screen cut off over here. So I like him a lot too. He's really come along as well. And the Seahawks are not good against the tight end. So I like the 49ers to cover 9.5. I like CMC, Elijah Mitchell. I like Kittle. One thing you might want to look at also is Lockett. Lockett scores touchdowns pretty much every game, it seems like. So kind of look at him maybe to possibly score a touchdown as well. But I just think that San Francisco is playing way too well, and Seattle is not. And so that's why I like the Niners -9.5.
Yep. Yeah, I do too. I think that when Jordan Brooks tore his ACL, I think Jared said it last week too, like that really put a damper on the Seahawks defense. I think that the magic's kind of starting to run out. I know Geno had a record-setting year for the Seahawks, which is kind of hard to believe that Russ never – I didn't feel like Geno was lighting it up that much, but early in the season, I guess he did play pretty well. But I don't think this game's close. Debo's back. Ayuk seems like he's emerged a little more than before. CMC's healthy. Eli Mitchell's healthy. Give me the Niners. And the defense is too much for the Seahawks to handle, I think.
Last game they played, Seahawks, they did lose to them, but it was 4 points that they lost by. I think Debo coming back. Elijah Mitchell, look, I get it. It's more weapons and everything, but maybe it throws the chemistry off. And I just feel like going to the playoffs and stuff like that, this is a game where everybody's getting into the 49ers, Brock Purdy and stuff like that. And this is a game he falls apart. Like I said, still covers it. They're still going to win the game. I just think it's going to be closer. I actually think it's going to be a lower scoring game too. I do have Geno combined yardage of over 248.5. I think Nick Bosa is going to be running all over the place, chasing them and everything. So he might be doing a lot of running more than throwing too than he normally does.
He ran quite a bit last weekend. I mean, when they needed him to move the ball downfield, he broke loose left a few times. And I was like, oh, Geno is showing off the legs a little bit. So, yeah, I think he, it's a playoff. So now it's, this is a time where you might want to have some quarterbacks that don't quite scramble, as much, where you want to look at their rushing props because they're going to get out and do whatever they can to get it first.
Yep. That was Thursday Night Football and they played him. I remember that now. Saturday night, Chargers traveling to Duval. Jaguars getting 2.5 points at home. I guess I'm the odd man out here. I like the Chargers. Brandon Staley, we've said it. I think we say it every single week how dumb that guy is. That stupid son of a bitch literally about cost him everything. I just forgot the owner of the Chargers. Doesn't matter. If I was him, I'd have fired him. How does Mike Williams get hurt out there? He is your best player on the field besides Justin Herbert. He tilts the field. Nobody can cover him. He's huge. Why is he out there? I mean, why is Herbert play the whole game? It doesn't matter. You guys fucking lost. Who gives a shit? Why are those guys on the field? There was no point. You knew you weren't getting any. Nothing was changing.
They were pretty much.
Analytics says that he's going to be. He always goes by analytics and all that aspect.
And shove it up his fucking ass. He's a dipshit, and he does not deserve to be in the fucking playoffs because how stupid he was. But I still like the Chargers. Too many weapons. I know the Jaguars are rolling, and they look great, and it's in Jacksonville. But I think the Chargers got too many weapons, and Mike Williams says all right. So I think that they'll be ready to play. I'm really excited to see Herbert in the playoffs. You know, I'm hoping it's more than 1 week. Joe, what's up, buddy? So I like the Chargers on the road. I just think that they have a little more than the Jaguars defense can handle. Yep. Joe knows. But I like Herbert over 279.5 passing yards, and I like Christian Kirk over 57.5 receiving yards. So, Rich, go ahead.
Yeah, look, Jaguars are doing everything right now. They are on a roll. Everything's running smoothly for them. They got a well-balanced offense. I mean, you got great options at receivers. I mean, I'm not saying they're all stars, rock stars, anything like that, but you got a good combination of veterans and just skill positions and everything. Then on top of that, you got a running back that could run, catch out of the backfield, playing well. And Trevor Lawrence has finally found his mojo and everything with the new coach getting him to where he's at right now. And I see them continuing. I think the difference in this game is Jaguars defense over Chargers defense is going to be what makes this happen for the Jaguars.
Yeah. So when I looked at this, I mean, I didn't put anything, I put a lot of thought into a lot of these games this week without, putting anything on paper, but all I kept thinking about was how big of a dumbass Staley is. And also the fact that Jacksonville has already played a playoff game, not technically, but last week was a playoff game for them. They had to win to get in last week. They've been there. So initially I thought, man, you're going to have, you got Trevor Lawrence, who's never been there. You got a team that's a lot of guys that's never been there before, but they did it last week. They had a game last week where they had to win and to get in. So essentially they played a playoff game like atmosphere last week. Now the Chargers are a different beast. They have way more weapons than the Titans.
I mean, it was fucking Josh Dobbs and the Titans. They beat him by 4.
Yeah, I get it. But it's one of those things where Jacksonville's playing at home. Jacksonville's rolling. The Chargers, whatever the reason they did what they did last week, like if you're going out to play these guys, play to. I mean, as Dick Vermeil says, you play to win the game. And last week they played all their guys, and they just kind of were out there going through the motion. And I thought that actually did not do them well. I think that's going to hurt them in the long run. I still don't. I think the Chargers have way more weapons. I think that they have more. I would take Justin Herbert over Trevor Lawrence. If you go play by play, player by player, Chargers should win this game. But you're traveling over to Jacksonville, and Jacksonville played well last week. They're playing with a lot of confidence. And honestly, I don't know if the Chargers are because of, how they played last week. So it's just one of those games. I don't know. It'll be a fun game to watch. I'm looking forward to this game on Saturday night. But I'm picking the Jaguars because they're getting 2.5 points at home. I think this game is going to be really, really close. And I think that we're going to find Staley's going to find a way to mess this up and screw it up and do something really fucking stupid. And I just think that's the difference in the game. And so I'm taking the Jaguars plus 2.5.
Yeah. ETN over 15.5 receiving yards.
Love that. I love that. I saw you put it, and I didn't even put anything in there because I like yours and Nate's. So
speaking of the Titans, how bad is Malik Willis that Josh
Terrible.
Dobbs? I don't, dude.
Terrible.
There's no chance. Like they're gonna have to sign Josh Dobbs to a contract next year.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Hopefully Willis figures it out next year, but he's not playing. Yeah.
I mean, he was a fun story in the offseason, but that's all it is. Like he was fun doing his, his camp or his his workouts and stuff. But other than that, he's not a good enough quarterback to compete in the NFL.
No. He was. I'd say Dobbs played pretty well for what he's got.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah, good for him. I don't know. Titans I've never thought they were very good. Even last year, the last 2 years, I've always said they fucking stink. But they got Derrick Henry. That's the only reason that keeps the train on the track, and Vrabel because he's awesome. But
he is.
Early Sunday game.
Nate, did you go over your player props?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah,
I like Kirk last week, so
279.5 and Kirk over 57.5 receiving yards.
Yeah. Yep.
Dolphins traveling up to Orchard Park. It's going to be freezing cold. Skylar Thompson starting. The Dolphins don't have a chance. To be honest, they probably didn't have a chance with Tua when it's fucking 10 degrees outside. The Bills, I know they haven't looked. I don't know. I mean, granted, the Patriots should have won that game, but they had 2 kick return touchdowns. I don't know how that happens. I mean, it's rare to see one. He had 2 of them. But I think is Tyreek hurt? He was limping all over the damn place there last weekend. I thought
he got hurt, but he came back in and finished the game.
I know. I'm just saying. I feel like he's a little dinged up, and that cold weather's not going to help. How do you only beat Joe Flacco by? Well, they win by 5 or something fucking stupid, 11-6. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
I think Skylar Thompson had a little bit more to do with that. I was a little bit high on him last week when I was making my pick for last week's game, but man, he just did not impress me at all like he did the first time he came out and played.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel's like the best fucking coach there is, isn't he? Get the fuck out of here. Give me the Bills minus 13. Actually, I'm taking the Bills to win by 19 to 24 points. It's plus 450. They might win by more than that. And I like Jimmy Cook over 50.5 total yards. Abe?
I'm taking the Bills also. I think they got too much. The Dolphins don't have enough with Skylar Thompson. So I don't really have any player props on this because I just don't know what to think. Like it's just too much. It's a 13-point spread for a team that didn't the Dolphins beat them twice this year? I know they beat them once.
I think they beat them twice.
I think they beat them twice also. I could be wrong on that, but I want to say I know they played them very, very well twice. So to have a 13-point spread in a division game, in a playoff game, is crazy, but that just shows the difference between Skylar Thompson and even Teddy Two Gloves or Tua. The Bills are just too much.
Hey, the Bills won the second time when they played in Week 15 up in Orchard Park. They won by like 3 or 4.
Okay. So I just think the Bills are just too much. And, as we've talked about numerous times this year, the Bills aren't afraid to cover spreads by more than 10 points. They did it last year in every single game they won. So I'm taking the Bills minus 13.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills minus 13. I think the only highlight for Miami Dolphins is my player prop, Christian Wilkes. Is it Wilkes or Wilkinson?
I think it's Wilkins.
Wilkinson.
Dude,
Wilkinson?
I'm taking the over on him of 5.5 tackles and assists. Dude, I don't know if you guys have ever heard him mic'd up. Dude is one of the most hilarious guys to listen to when he's out there playing a game and everything. You got to go look up some of his videos where they have him mic'd up. He's a freaking awesome player. He's the highlight of their defense, the way he's able to, the things that he does and everything. But that's the reason why I'm taking his over 5.5.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's really good. The monster. Giants, Vikings. Vikings favored by 3 points at home. Abe, go ahead.
I'm taking the Vikings here. I know everyone's been on the Giants. That's all the talk is this week is, Giants going in there and getting revenge on the Vikings from a few weeks ago when the Vikings won by 3. Once again, I think it's teams with just a little bit too much firepower. I think Justin Jefferson has a monster game. It's just one of those games where I just think it's hard for me to say that Danny Dimes is going to go out and beat this team. And we know the Vikings defense is absolutely atrocious. I don't know. I just have a feeling that the Vikings win this game. I don't know if they cover 3. But I do think the Vikings win this game, and I'm not very confident in saying that. I do have some player props in this. I like Isaiah Hodgins over 44.5 receiving yards and his 3.5 receptions.
Go Beavers.
The Vikings, like I said, their defense is not good. I think Danny Dimes has a really good game. But in the end, I think that they just keep going to Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook and TJ Hawkinson and their weapons. I just think that they have that option to go to any one of those guys late in the game. And then we're probably going to see Kirk Cousins explode coming out of the game, that he's, that he owns teams or whatever. I don't know. I think the Vikings. I think they cover this game. I don't know if they cover it, but I think they win this game. So I'm picking the Vikings -3. I'm not confident in it, but I just had to go a little bit against the grain here because everyone is taking the Giants on everything I've heard this week. So I'm going to go a little against the grain and take the Vikings.
Rich.
So I'm foreshadowing something down the road, but the ball season keeps on going, and he just like I said, Giants it just feels like they rested their players last week and stuff like that. And
they
to me, I felt like that. What's that?
They still almost beat the Eagles.
I know the Eagles. Look, they're playing against a lot of the secondary and everything, and the Eagles had to win to get the first overall bye and everything.
Davis Webb played.
What's that?
Davis Webb was under center, not Tyrod Taylor.
I think this is one huge advantage that they got to rest their players and stuff like that going into this week a little bit. So, I see like a dream game from Saquon this week. Maybe Thunder and Lightning go for over 300 yards rushing together and everything. Player prop I got on this one is it seems like every time I pick a team, I always pick a player prop from the player I'm picking against. But Jefferson's going over 6.5 receptions. Yeah.
I've been off the Vikings for a long time. I think they're lucky. I give you the Giants. I like the Giants winning money line plus 145 a lot. I like Danny Dimes over 40.5 rushing yards. Saquon Barkley over 71.5 rushing yards. Dayball knows what to do to win this game, and that's keep the ball away from Kissing Cousins. So they're just going to run. Richie James probably has a big game. Hey, Kenny Galladay scored a touchdown last week.
I know. See that? Saw that.
Yeah, exactly. The Vikings beat the Giants last time with like a 61-yard field goal, some lucky ass shit. Like, it's got to come to an end at some point. And maybe this isn't it, but I like the Giants. Dayball is a stud. One of the best coaches around right now. He knows what to do to win, and I like it. So give me the Giants.
Joe, I'm gonna act like you didn't put this up. Oh, not this one. I apologize. This one right here. I'm gonna act like you didn't put this one up. Okay.
Whoa.
He's just doing what Abe and I did all year.
He's pulling what Nate and I do. So
yeah.
Hey, one thing to think about too. I saw a stat that like the 6 team versus the 3 team over the last like 5 years has straight up won, like over 70% of the time.
Hell yeah.
So I that was another reason why I'm like, oh, what am I doing? But it's gonna be that should be a good game.
Dayball knew, Joe. He's saving Kenny for the playoffs.
You guys should be flagged for saying this.
Oh gosh,
that's funny.
Kenny,
all right,
Galladay.
Sunday Night Football. Ravens traveling back to Cincinnati again. Bengals favored by 9.5 at home. Can't believe it's more or not more. Abe, you know what? I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so I'm picking the Ravens plus 9.5. There's no way in hell that the Ravens have a chance of winning this game. There's no way the Ravens are going to be within 2 scores of this game for the entirety of the game until late. I think we're going to see something kind of what we saw a little bit last week, and that's the Bengals dominate early, and then kind of just coast in the second half, and that's where I think the Ravens kind of get a last-second touchdown, last couple-minute touchdown to make this game like an 8 or 9 point game. But the Bengals dominate this game. My props for this game are Bengals minus 2.5 in the first quarter, Bengals minus 5.5 in the first half, and the Bengals over 2.5 touchdowns. So if you know what I'm saying, the Bengals are going to dominate this game. But I think that as we saw last week, the Bengals in the second half didn't do much, didn't have to do much. And they're a team that was there last year, and they understand how to do it. And that is to go out and get a lead, and then hey, you have a huge game coming up next week. Go get a lead and then and coast in the second half. And so that's why I think that the Ravens cover this spread. Not any other reason besides that, because I think the Bengals absolutely dominate this entire game. But in the second half, I think we see them coast like we did last week, and not, show their cards too much, kind of like what they did last week against a team that they knew they were playing this week. So a lot of people can say, well, they didn't show their cards last week. That's why they're going to go out and dominate this week. I get it. I understand that. But they also have a big game coming up, probably more than likely against the Bills. And so I think that we see them crushed in the first quarter, first half, maybe even the third quarter. And then I don't think we're going to see a lot of their guys in the fourth quarter. And I think that's when the Ravens are like, you know what, screw it. Let's just let it fly. Let's let things happen. And the Bengals, they just play so deep and so soft. And the Ravens maybe score a touchdown late to bust the spread. That's all I can think of is why is this a 9.5-point spread? It should honestly be 15.
14? Yeah, 14.
It should be 15. I mean, it really should. And so that's why I'm thinking, like, if this was 10.5, would more people be on the side of the Ravens? And is Vegas thinking that? That's what I'm thinking for this game and even the 49ers game a little bit. But the Seahawks are at least putting a quality team out there, whereas the Ravens are not, especially on offense, I should say. So, so that's why I'm taking the Ravens plus 9.5. But please understand that the Bengals are going to dominate this game, especially in the first half.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, that is perfect analogy from one of the greats, Mr. Abe the Great. I love it when he goes on these spills and everything and just hits everything right on the nail with that hammer. Nice job.
Thanks.
Go ahead.
Hey, I'm going Eagles. I mean, very easy. I'm sorry, Bengals. I'm sorry.
Next week.
I'm thinking about something else already because I was listening to Abe the whole time, so I started thinking of something else I was going to talk about. So, yeah, Bengals over 40.5.
That's just you're saying the Bengals are going to score over 40.5 points?
That is what I'm saying. Bengals are going over 40.5.
I like that.
I don't doubt that.
I don't either.
I like Bengals.
That over 2.5 touchdowns is minus 105 right now. They're scoring 3 touchdowns against the Ravens. They did it last week in the first half against a team that, they didn't really have to win. They did, but what are they going to do this week when when it's playoff time? I mean, they've been there. This is over 2.5 touchdowns that's a lovely bet. I don't think that will be minus 105 when it comes around to Sunday night.
No. I like the Bengals as well. I don't know. Obviously, the game would be closer with Lamar playing, but their offense has been shitty all year, regardless of who the quarterback was. That offense is a joke. Greg Roman needs to be out of the building. Like I said, it hasn't been good, and this game's not going to help. This not even close. I mean, like my props here. No, Lamar's not playing. And Tyler Huntley sat out all week because they didn't want him to get hurt in practice because he's got tendonitis in his shoulder or elbow or something. Toughen up, kid, play through it. It's just, he's going to have to because Anthony Brown sure as hell, he's not doing anything, But so you can't make this a parlay, which kind of stinks. But I like Joe Burrow over 268.5, Jamar Chase over 76.5, and T. Higgins over 61.5, and Tyler Boyd over 33.5. That could be in the first half, to be honest with you. So, I think they're going to just beat the shit out of them. And then Joe Mixon, I should have thrown him in there too. Whatever his rushing total is, it's like 70 yards, probably 60 or 70 yards. I wouldn't be scared of that one either. So, not even close.
I mean, and also none of us said this. I mean, another bet to look at is take the Bengals, get a couple of turnovers and maybe even score once. I mean, we saw them do that last week against this team. So
it is, Joe. It's got to be. I mean, his offense is just like Lamar's in shotgun every goddamn play. Like, they need to put him under center. They have like 4 tight ends on the field all the time. I don't know. I know Lamar's drop back pass game's not stellar. It's not, but it's gotten a lot better. And I think it's Greg Roman to me is not a good offense coordinator. I don't know, that's just my thought, but I could be wrong, but it just feels that he is the issue, not so much. And granted, Lamar not being there hurts, but Monday Night Football, Cowboys traveling to Tampa Bay. I'll go first. Tampa Bay's getting 2.5 points at home. Give me Tampa Bay. I think Cowboys are a fraud. Sorry, coach. They looked so bad last week. If you're going to play Dak and those guys, why are you running it looked like they were running some scout team offense. It was terrible. So bad. They averaged 2.4, 2.3 yards a play. I mean, what the fuck is that? That's a team that's supposed to be some stud juggernaut team. That's a joke. Sam Howell lit them up. And I think their defense has kind of fallen off. I never thought their defense was elite. Very good. Michael Parsons is phenomenal. Trevon Diggs, great. They have some great guys. Leighton Vander Esch should play, but I think they're kind of a fraud, to be honest with you. And I don't know. Dax to throw under a half an interception is plus money, but I think it's like minus 120 for him to throw over half an interception. So
that's happening.
Yeah, that's happening. And Noah Brown's their leading receiver. Like anyways, I don't know. I just think they're kind of a fraud. And it's Tom Brady. I know he hasn't been the best and looked that great. They can't run the ball. I think they'll be able to run the ball in the Cowboys. But I like the Bucs at home, getting points. I think they win outright. I like Brady over 275.5. He's obviously going to throw the ball like he has been all year. I like him over 42.5 attempts because he's probably going to throw the ball 50 times. And then I like old playoff Lenny over 68.5 total yards. He's going to come on strong. It's just what he does. So, yeah, give me the Bucs. Rich?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Out of all the games, this is the one less desirable that I want to watch. It just seems like
the Cowboys. It's okay.
Well, I do. Don't get me wrong and everything. I do hate them with the passion and everything. But man, the Buccaneers have not been desirable to watch this year either. I mean, they've had
where Mike Evans scored 3 touchdowns is pretty cool.
Yeah, one game and stuff like that. They had that nice game and everything. But in the last 5-6 games, I mean, oh my goodness, every time I was watching a game where they were playing, it was always a low-scoring game, field goals. I mean, as bad as the Cowboys played last week, I can see that again this week. I am picking the Cowboys to cover. I'm picking the Cowboys to freaking outright win and everything this week. I mean, all week everybody's talked about how bad the Cowboys looked, how bad Dak has looked and everything. And I could see this being everybody also talking about is one and done with Cowboys, first in and out and stuff in the first round. This year they changed the narrative and at least win one game this week. And I'm giving Coach Cowboys a nod this week. I am taking Parsons over 0.75 sacks.
Are you guys nervous that the great Kellen Moore is worried about these coach interviews he's got? He's probably going to be like the next Don Shula. That's what everybody says.
God.
He's that good.
Ridiculous.
He's the reason. It's not Fat Mike, Abe. Kellen Moore sucks.
I don't know. Mike has a little bit to do with it, but so this was another tough game for me, and I'm kind of going against my words what I said with the Chargers now with the Cowboys. So I said the Chargers last week looked like they're out there just kind of running through the motions, and they played terrible, and that's going to roll into this week. And then I said here, and I picked the Cowboys to cover 2.5. Who played even worse against the GOAT, in the playoffs, Tom Brady. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This is the other game that I went back and forth on. I don't know who to pick. I picked Brady a lot this year, just saying, okay, here he goes. He's going to take off. At some point, it's going to be Tom Brady time. And guess what? Playoffs is Tom Brady time. I get it. I understand that. And he played really well their last full game. And Mike Evans was awesome. There were 3 touchdowns, all that stuff. I get all that, but Tampa Bay has just not played good. And the thing with Dallas is when Dallas plays really, really, really terrible one week, they come back the next week and play really, really good. And so that's what kind of persuaded me to go with Dallas. Dak has done this all year long. His numbers are worse than Derek Carr. And Derek Carr gets benched and Dak gets, he gets praised all over the place. But when Dak's back is against the wall, when they're saying, hey, Dak, you played absolutely shitty last week. You're terrible. And then I start thinking, well, maybe Dak's not the answer. And then he comes out the next week and the Cowboys put together a good game plan and they play really, really well. What they need to do is they need to establish the run and not go away from it and get a lot of Tony Pollard, a lot of Zeke Elliott, and then open up things for Dalton Schultz and for CeeDee Lamb and all that stuff. They may not do it, but at the same time, I just think that Tampa Bay has had one good game this year. They've played one good game. Now I know that was 2 weeks ago, but I don't think that this team is good enough to make a run. And that's hard for me to say because I always pick Brady, especially in the playoffs. It's hard to pick against Brady. But ultimately, when I look at this and I just kept going back and forth on everything, I'm like, the Cowboys when they play a shitty game the week before, they come out and they trounce the next week. They play really good. And so that's why I'm picking the Cowboys -2.5 in Tampa Bay. Don't forget when Dallas has played Tampa Bay the last 2 years, I think they opened up on ceremony weekend, ring ceremony weekend. When Dak came back from an injury, he's always played Brady very, very good. They've not beat them, but Dak has played always really good against them. So that's why I'm taking Dallas -2.5. And my player prop for this is Evans over 64.5. I think he scores a touchdown in this game. I think he gets a long one against Diggs. Diggs is very, very aggressive, and Brady knows that. I think they do a double move on Diggs, and they get a long touchdown on him. I think this game is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I like the fact that this is a Monday night game. I'm not a big fan of Monday night game on Wildcard Weekend, but this will give me something to look forward to on Monday after the weekend's over. And I just think that the Cowboys, they have enough. And I think they've played well enough, throughout the year. I know they've had some down times where they played like shit, including last week. But I think they come back out and they play a good game. I know, Nate, you and I know that Mike McCarthy, when his back's against the wall and he's not supposed to win, he puts a pretty good game plan together. And I don't like to praise the guy very much. Yeah, because he likes to play good football. So I at that point in time, I'm gonna go against what I believe, and that my belief is Tom Brady, and say the Cowboys end up winning this game. But I do think that Evans has a good game.
Kellen Moore and his fucking Madden playbook isn't gonna do it.
No, you're right. Kellen Moore is not the answer, and guess what? He's on a lot of radars for whatever reason.
I'm excited.
Right now.
I can't wait to see what franchise he ruins. All right. Long shots of the week. I got 2 of them. I was all pumped up. I was actually going to keep firing these out there, but I didn't, I held myself off. So my first one is just basically what I like. 49ers, Chargers, Bills, Giants, Bengals, Bucks, money line, 1,400. So not too bad. My second one, which is a lot longer, McCaffrey, Mike Williams, Josh Allen, Saquon, Jamar Chase, Mike Evans, all to score. It's plays 78-1. So
let's get a payday on that.
Yeah, feels pretty good about that one.
I like it.
And there was some things I was going to switch around in there too. I don't remember what changing the McCaffrey touchdown to a Kittle touchdown jacks that thing up quite a bit. So yeah, I like both those.
I like that. I have a touchdown long shot bet of the week also. Mine is Debo to score. We're gonna get to see Debo for the first time in weeks. And when he plays, we know he likes getting in the end zone. So I got Debo to score. My second player prop to score is Gabe Davis. Guess what? Gabe Davis was pretty good in the playoffs last year. He scored some touchdowns. So I like him. I like him to get a long one against Miami. And my third one is Danny Dimes.
Hell yeah.
So those 3 guys, Debo, Gabe Davis, and Danny Dimes to score combined is plus 1556. So bet, $100 on it, you win 1,556. So it's only 3 guys. It's 3 guys that love to find their way to the end zone. It's a good one to look at. By any means, I will not be putting $100 on it. But I will be sprinkling a little bit on that. I do like those odds. So Debo Samuel, Gabe Davis, and Danny Dimes all to score.
Yeah, I love that. Debo, Davis, Danny Dimes, all to score rushing touchdown. Man, I love that. That's a long shot of the week right there.
The 4 Ds.
I guess he missed the part where I said rushing. All right. My long shot of the week, which really ain't a long shot if you really sit there and think about it, but I'm taking it. Kittle to score 2 TDs, plus 900.
I
think we were talking about Seahawks not playing good against the tight ends, correct?
I think we're worried about the Seahawks not playing good against anybody. Their defense is starting. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, the Wildcard Weekend.
Wildcard Weekend.
All right, let's get into the fun stuff here.
Hey, by the way, you know what's really good for that cough?
What's that?
Speedos. A lot of it.
Well, I'm just learning that.
Oh,
so
I've been trying to teach you. Yeah, I can lead you to the water. I can't make you drink it.
Hey, keep making me drink it though. That's all I can do right now.
Oh yeah. So we got a couple extra little bets here. I saw them on DraftKings today, and I thought I'd throw them in here. The Well, actually, the first one was Derek Carr, where he takes his next snap in 23, and that was pulled down off DraftKings like pretty quick, which was weird. I guess adding teams or whatever. So, but then DeAndre Hopkins was put back up there where he plays his next one. The weirdest thing, and the only reason I actually added this was because it has the Packers at plus 300. They're the odds-on favorite to land him, which is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. There's no chance
never
that
gonna
happens.
happen. It's never gonna happen.
If Abe gave me $500, I would not put it on there. I wouldn't put $1 on there if Abe gave me $1.
Never gonna happen.
No chance. So I like the Bears. They're plus 2,000 to land Hopkins. I think that's a good spot for him. Granted, if the Bears trade Justin Fields, which people say is going to happen, I don't know if that is, but I still like the Bears to land him. I just think I could see him playing in Chicago. So
hey, the Bears have a ton of money.
Yeah, a shit ton of money.
A ton of money. And all they keep talking about is we need protection for Fields and we need someone to throw the ball to with Fields. And so I would definitely and then you could get, some young guys where D-Hop can kind of groom them. So I definitely see that happening. I have the Cowboys at 10-1 for D-Hop's next team he plays for. We may see the Cowboys get exposed a little bit at the wide receiver position in the playoffs. Michael Gallup has not lived up to Michael Gallup things. You have CeeDee Lamb, and other than that, you're relying on T.Y. Hilton or Noah Brown.
And that Peyton Hendershot kid.
Yeah.
They need to throw the ball to Dutch. Dutch Schultz and Jake Ferguson need the ball, not Peyton.
Hey, Jake Ferguson is if you have a dynasty league and you need a tight end, go after Jake Ferguson because he's going to be the new, Dalton Schultz. He's going to be the new. What was their tight end that was really good forever before him? I'm drawing a blank.
Jason
Witten, yeah. So I have the Cowboys at 10-1. They're obviously we know that Jerry's willing to spend money. He likes bringing in big name guys. I think that this is a good fit for them to go. Obviously, D-Hop's been in Texas before, so I have the Cowboys at 10-1 for D-Hop's next spot.
Yeah, and for me, it's kind of that old adage where big dogs go to die on the pasture and everything. I think the Chiefs are that pasture, and Big Dog wants to win a Super Bowl.
That'd be awesome. That'd be cool to see D-Hop with Mahomes. He's never had like that big ass receiver who's just a stud. Like I don't know Tyreek, but he's a little guy.
Rich, I'm gonna be honest with you. As soon as I saw this up, I'm like Chiefs. I don't care what the odds are. I'm putting in Chiefs because there's a good chance that what's the receiver that came from the Steelers this year?
Juju.
Yeah, there's a good chance Juju doesn't get re-signed. So why not go and sign D-Hop? I mean, the Chiefs is a really, really good choice. That's what I was going to put, and you already had it on there, Rich. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think that's going to be like the trend for like the next 8 years and stuff like that. That when a receiver gets to the end of his career and hasn't won a Super Bowl, hey, let's go play with the Chiefs and Mahomes and stuff like that. They're going to give me a fair chance, and I think that's what's going to lure a lot of people at the end of their careers if they have the opportunity to go somewhere. Why not go play with as much as I hate saying it, one of the greats, Mahomes? You
can't hate to say it. Actually the odds changed already, Abe. So the Packers are plus 330, Patriots plus 450, Chiefs are plus 500, Giants are plus 750.
I saw they're 5-1 when I looked. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that. I don't know why you wouldn't want to go there. They're awesome. So this one, Rich, I did this for you and because I just kind of think it's funny. I don't think it's funny. I think they did him dirty. I know he hasn't been phenomenal, but he's been good enough to not deserve what happened. So Derek Carr, Rich, you go first. Where's his next game?
So initially, the last 2 weeks and stuff like that, I know everybody's been talking about the Jets and everything, and that was kind of where I was thinking too and everything until they let go of their offensive coordinator the other day. They got rid of the offensive coordinator.
Mike LaFuck is gone. He's coming to Green Bay. We're going to have the LaFuck brothers. It's going to be fun.
So I don't see Carr going there now. I mean, your whole career, you've been going from offensive coordinator. And if you're going to go to another team where you're worried about offensive coordinators getting changed out year again, don't do it. So I don't see him going there now. I know a lot of people ain't talking about this because there's a whole bunch of other teams that people are talking about, but I like him going to Miami. If Carr is sitting there thinking about it, Tua is a Pro Bowl player, and I like to believe Carr's better than Tua.
Rich, you could go to the Pro Bowl with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
I mean, look at that firepower and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Carr's been playing against Hill for how long now? And now he might have the opportunity to throw to him and everything. A good offensive line. I mean, they got a great left tackle to support his back. I mean, a lot of good things make sense. And it's I don't know, man. It looks real good there going to Miami, playing there if given opportunity. I think that's where he goes.
Yep. Hey.
I like that, Rich. I mean, Miami's if you're a quarterback, I mean, you got to salivate a little bit. So, but then again, Derek Carr had that at the beginning of the year this year, and then he has Hunter Renfrow go down and Waller go down, and so the weapons in Miami are obviously exciting for any quarterback to say, yeah, that's where I want to go. They're a team that's Miami's been 9-8 the last 2 years. And now they have the weapons on offense to do whatever they want to do. So I really like that aspect of him going to Miami. The Jets make a lot of sense. There's a lot of teams that makes, sense. I'm not a Derek Carr hater. I think Derek Carr throws a good ball. I think he got done really dirty this year by the Raiders. I don't think he's old enough to do this, but I'm picking the Colts at 6-1. I think the Colts pick a quarterback in the draft this year, obviously in their top. I think they have the number 4 pick this year. So I think they probably get CJ Stroud at number 4. But at the same time, I don't think the Colts are saying, hey, you know what? We have a good defense. We have a good O-line. We have a great running back. We can win this division, or at least compete with Jacksonville and Tennessee right now. So go get Derek Carr, and you have Michael Pittman. You have who's the wide receiver from Cincinnati? Alec Pierce. You have good players around you. You're playing in a dome. So I like Derek Carr to play and play for the Colts. Usually the Colts go for guys that are at the end of their career. I don't think Carr is yet near his end of his career, but he's getting closer. But I think that the Colts signed him to a couple of years and let CJ Stroud kind of learn from behind him. I like the Colts +6, plus 600 for Derek Carr to go there next year.
I like Jets 300 or 3-1. Zach Wilson stinks. Mike White's not the answer. As much as it pains me to say that, I think that if Eric Tecker's back and Breece Hall is healthy, when that comes around, they got Donovan Knight, who's a dude. Donovan Knight, Michael Carter, and Breece Hall. You better keep all 3 of those guys on the field all the time. Corey Davis stinks. Get him the hell out of there. Let Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson. Like I said, they got weapons.
No, I agree. I would have picked the Jets up to the point where they released offensive coordinator yesterday.
Well, he sucks. Dude, like I said it before the show. I think if you got the LaFuck brothers, try to get a third down, you're fucked. I mean, there's no chance. Those guys are garbage on third down.
Unless you have Breece Hall. I mean, that's the caveat to it is Breece Hall. Every time they had a third down, they give him the ball the first 5 weeks of the season, and he'd run for one. So
yeah, well, that's it.
Here's think about it. What's the one thing they said about Carr his whole career? Look, good QB and stuff like that, but doesn't have the defense to support him. Just defense is not that bad and stuff like that. They got defensive coach and everything, and then on top of that, they've drafted young skilled players on offense and put Carr in that. It's just like I said, I would love to. Another thing too is the big thing is New York the right fit for Derek Carr? As far as not so much the team and stuff like that, but the atmosphere and everything.
That's why I chose Indianapolis.
It's he's plus 3,000 to go to the Lions. That'd be very Detroit. Get a guy that's just normally under 500 to be the Lions quarterback. Anyways, moving on. So now we're going to talk. So you can't bet on any of these anymore. They're all shut down. But I just kind of want to go through and see what we all thought. We'll start off MVP. I like Mahomes. I think it's pretty obvious. He's just he's the best there is right now. So good. He carries the team. Doesn't matter what it is. Like I said, he'll throw for 350 yards, and we're like, hey, good job, buddy. Any other quarterback in the NFL besides maybe Josh Allen or whatever throws for 350, it's like, holy shit. But Mahomes, it's just like, another day in the park. So I think it's pretty obvious. Everybody thought, oh, Tyreek's gone, this, that, and the other. It's going to be a down year. No, not a chance. So
yeah, I get it. I initially was thinking Mahomes too, but I wanted to be the odd duck. Look, when you sit here and think about Mahomes and everything, you can't but help. Same with the Josh Allen and everything. You got Josh Allen and Mahomes in the AFC and everything. So
and Herbert.
And yeah, exactly, you got ton. But then you sit here and think about what he's done this year and everything. Everybody was. I mean, to me, he had a great season last year too, and everything to a certain degree as far as fantasy wise and everything. But this year, he took it to another whole level. Yeah, they've set some good things up for him and everything. And I mean, he's been doing it through the air and on the feet. I mean, to me, if I'm picking someone different than Mahomes, I'm going to Hurts.
My one thing I gotta say about Hurts, and I think he has done well. They put him in this situation. He runs the 6-back offense, the wing T, whatever you want to call it, so well. And they set him up to do it, and I'm fine with that. It works for him. But the fact that Gardner Minshew can start and throw for over 320 some yards, and that's the second most yards they passed for all season. If I'm trying, is Chase Daniel still the backup in KC? I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Would Gardner Minshew throw over 300 yards in the Kansas City offense? I don't think so. That's what kind of like what I look at, because I just don't think that happens. Yeah, or Chase Daniel, he's not doing that. We know that. But anyways, go ahead, Abe.
I got Mahomes also. We talked at the beginning of the year, like, who do you like for your MVP picks? And I thought, a lot of us talked of, hey, the Chiefs could be the third or fourth team in their division. They're losing Tyreek Hill. They're losing, the identity of this team without Tyreek. What's going to look like? And this Chiefs team has dominated this year. They've played really, really good. And a lot of that, you have to give credit to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
I'm glad you said Andy Reid. Thank you.
Yeah. When you lose someone like Tyreek and then you go out there and you still put up the points that they put up, and you have a revolving door in the backfield, you have to give credit to Pat Mahomes. I mean, this guy was, like I said, a lot of us picked Kansas City like, hey, they may not make the playoffs this year. They don't have Tyreek anymore. They're in a super tough division. Now we fast forward 18, 19, 20 weeks later, and you're like, hey, this team is a number 1 seed in the toughest conference in football. You got to give credit to where credit is due, and that's Pat Mahomes. I mean, this guy has done it, week in, week out. It's not like he's had it's very, very rare for him to have some bad weeks. He's had some bad weeks and thrown a couple picks against like Denver, but it's not like he had to win those games. Like, they did other things to win those games. And that's where I think Pat Mahomes is. When he had to win a game, he could put the team on his back. And without a Tyreek Hill, you lose someone like that, and you go out and sign, a couple of mediocre receivers and Juju and MVS, and then your number 1 receiver you have coming back is, I can't think of his name. Mecole Hardman. You have him, and then he gets hurt. He goes down. He just keeps doing it with different guys. And think about this. Kelsey has not scored a touchdown in 6 weeks, and this team is still rolling towards the playoffs. So my MVP this year, hands down, goes to Patrick Mahomes. He's been awesome. And there's even more credit due because we don't have to sit there and watch anything with his brother or his girlfriend. I think that's the real MVP, is that we don't have to see those two yet. I don't want to speak too early because I know we'll probably see him in the playoffs, but that's the real MVP for me, is that I don't have to watch his brother or his girlfriend bitching and complaining and doing all their stuff. Pat Mahomes has been the guy with who he's had. He's been impressive. Revolving door in the backfield. Pat Mahomes is my MVP. Yep.
Coach of the year. Abe, you go first.
Yeah, let's just piggyback off this. Andy Reid, same exact reason. I mean, you lose, same exact reason as what I just said for Pat Mahomes. Andy Reid keeps doing it week after week. you sit there and see stuff. You see them do that lollygag, thing. And a lot of people were offended by that. He's having fun. His thing is he's having fun, and that's okay in the NFL. That's okay. He's not rubbing it in. He's having fun. Andy Reid just as deserving a Coach of the Year as Pat Mahomes is MVP.
Yeah, Rich.
Yeah, I'm going the Philadelphia coach Sirianni. I remember last year when he was named coach of that team, and I was like, who is this guy? I was like, nobody had talked. He was quiet and stuff like that, and he's kind of taken on a personality of his own this year and everything, which is the way the team has played and everything. Now, a lot of people are going to credit the GM for everything he's done to set this team up where they're at and everything, but Sirianni he's done some things to make this team number one in the NFC and my favorite to win to be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Okay, I'm not against it. I
like yours too. You already had it picked, so that's why I went this route. So
my thing with Sirianni is like that. I feel like I could coach that team to win games.
I said, GM set him up pretty well.
I know he did very well. Give me Brian Daboll. It's either him or Mike Tomlin. I mean, Mike Tomlin. I know. Another season over 500. Look where they started the year and where they ended the year. It's hard not to say Mike Tomlin, but Brian Daboll. I mean, he has done a phenomenal job. That team is there. There's no weapons on that team. You can't tell me that the teams that are in the playoffs. He probably has the worst roster. There's no. Who's he got? Saquon Barkley. That's it. I mean, I guess the Seahawks, but whatever. I mean, last week Davis Webb's fucking playing, and they almost beat the Eagles. It's a 14-point spread. They cover that like no problem. I think he has done a phenomenal job of running their own race. He knows what they're good at, and that's what they do. I know they've gotten kind of lucky, and I'm not sure when the sand's going to run out, but for now, I just think throughout the year, I think he's been phenomenal. I think Daboll's coach of the year.
Right, question.
I'm not against either one of your guys' things.
I know we've made our choice and stuff, and is it even determined yet? But if Carroll and the Seahawks make it past this first round and maybe even make it to the NFC Championship game, does he get considered?
I mean, he's probably considered anyways. He should be in consideration for it.
He should be considered for it, yeah. But I
just think what they've done with that rookie class is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's impressive in that tough division. But I think that there's 3 or 4 in front of them that can definitely make a case. So,
yep. Offensive player of the year. I'll go first. I like Jalen Hurts. I wanted to pick Tyreek Hill, but he kind of fell off. Not he didn't fall off, but it kind of slowed down a little bit. Early in the year, he was like a 75% catch rate, which is just phenomenal. He's at 70, 100 yards a game. He literally tilts the field like nobody else in the NFL. But, I think it's kind of slowed down a little bit. And Jalen Hurts didn't. I know he got hurt. Doesn't matter. You can't include that in it. Like Rich said earlier, when Rich talking about MVP, how great Hurts has been. I think that's why he's in line for, Offensive Player of the Year. Abe.
So I had a really hard time with this. I went back and forth on 2 players, and the first one is Austin Eckler. Think about where the Chargers were when when Herbert was hurt. They didn't have Hair Bear. When Hair Bear was hurt.
Eckler.
Oh, Eckler. Oh yeah, my bad. When Eckler was pretty much the only guy. I can't say with a straight face.
I know. I can't either.
But when you have no Keenan Allen, Mike Williams was banged up a little bit. Herbert was hurt. Let's be honest. He had a wrist problem for quite a while. And Eckler kept that team alive in a tough division. But ultimately, my offensive player of the year has to go to Justin Jefferson. I know they have a lot of weapons on this team. I know they've put up a ton of points because their defense sucks. But Justin Jefferson, when they were down 30 to the Colts, they turned to Justin Jefferson. When they were down, their answer every single time is Justin Jefferson, as well as it should be.
Except against the Packers, it wasn't. But
you're right. But you have
We fucking
a lot
stink,
of guys
doesn't
that
matter.
you can turn to. I mean, you have Delvin Cook, you have some weapons on that team that you can go to. And Justin Jefferson has been that guy. I mean, he's made some catches this year. Is like, whoa. I mean, that's impressive. And for him to, be in the hunt the last 2 weeks to get to 2,000 receiving yards, and then he goes up against Jair, and then a meaningless game the last 2 weeks. I think he gets there if he doesn't face that the last 2 weeks. So I think that Justin Jefferson is my offensive player of the year. He's been awesome. So, and if he wasn't a Viking, I would have Jay Jetta's jersey on right now because I have a man crush on Justin Jefferson. That dude he's fun to watch, and he's only a couple years in, so he's gonna be a lot of fun to watch for years. Thank God that Jair is there still as a Green Bay Packer. So hopefully he can shut him down twice a year.
Yeah. I like John Robinson's pick here too. He should be considered.
J-Rob likes him because Doug Peterson always wears a visor, and J-Rob's a big visor guy.
That's a really good choice, and he's someone I didn't think of till I just saw this.
Yeah.
Well, hey, when you take him out of the chop house, and take him, take him to the promised land, it's a little different. But I do like Doug Peterson too. I think it's I think he had a lot better situation to go to than Dayball did. With the Jaguars are the most talented team in the AFC South. Which not saying a lot, but they got some dudes, and I think but I think Peterson's probably. I wouldn't be surprised if he did win it. Actually, now when you show me those numbers, because I forgot they were 1-15.
Yeah. That's the reason why I had to put that up there. I started reading that. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to put that one up and go back to this conversation.
And Hurts is healthy enough. He's playing next week.
Yes.
He played last week, so it's fine. He's all right. He's tough. Rich, go ahead.
Yes. So, I kind of look at the offensive player of the year as a runner up to MVP, and usually MVP is always going to be a quarterback. And you pick a quarterback, and so you want to try to go another position when you're going offensive player of the year. I do like Hurts. He's the leading candidate with Mahomes being the MVP. I like Jefferson because Jefferson is the only other receiver that I would pick, aka Cooper Kupp last year and everything, winning the offensive player of the year. But I am going to pick with my heart. Rushing title, what he did this year. Look, Josh Jacobs. I mean, he has to be considered and stuff like that. I know he probably ain't going to have a chance and everything because of Justin Jefferson and everything. But you got to talk about the NFL rushing leader for this year as an opportunity in the situation he was in.
I agree, for sure. Defense player of the year. Are you guys picking the same one, or where are we on here?
No,
I made my pick first. So
yeah,
who
he
you
did.
picking?
I know.
He did.
Go ahead, Rich. You can go first.
Nick Bosa. I mean, if I ain't picking Max Crosby, I'm going Nick Bosa and everything. He's been stellar for the 49ers with that defense and everything. And maybe that's the reason why he's looked good, because how good the rest of the defense has been around him and stuff like that. So he's being able to cause all this ruckus and everything. But yeah, Nick Bosa is my defensive player of the year.
I second what Rich says because I agree. I wanted to pick Micah Parsons as much as I like that guy. But ultimately when you boil down, from the beginning of the season till the end of the season, Nick Bosa he's been the guy. And so I have to side with Rich on this one.
I think I'm with you guys. Like I said, he is, it's like he's another one of the ones that just, changes how everything goes on the field. But I don't know. Mike Parsons, I know it's been tough, but him, I just forget the guy from the Eagles that I like too. It's Hassan Reddick, right? Him or Parsons are kind of my two guys for defensive player of the year, but it should probably be Nick Bosa.
Beginning of the year, Parsons. Parsons was like dominating like the first 6-7 games. That's all people were talking about and everything. But then it's kind of like this is Parsons going down and Bosa just going steadily up the last 6-8 games of the season and stuff like that. And I think he's the one outshining everybody right now. And I think that's what does it for him.
Yeah.
What have you done for me lately kind of thing?
That's all it is. But all right, big one. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Who wants to go first? Rich, you want to go?
Garrett Wilson. He's had 3-4 different quarterbacks thrown to him. Rookie receiver. And all he did was go out and have over 1,000 yards receiving. I think it was like 84 receptions. Man, I'll put it this way. Next year, fantasy drafts, Debbie drafts, dynasty drafts, however you want, not Debbie, dynasty drafts. To me, going into the future, looking at the opportunity, if getting the right quarterback, goes there and sets them up. To me, he's top 5 dynasty receiver going forward and everything. I love what he's done for the first year being there with who's been thrown to him. I mean,
Rich only says that because Derek Carr is going to be a Jet.
No, he's going to Miami. But no, I'm just saying, man, this dude has been killing it and stuff like that.
Yes.
I mean, he's been awesome and everything. And I mean, think how much better he's going to be too if with a better QB, and then Breece Hall in the backfield, sucking everybody up and everything. It's just going to open up so much more for him.
Yeah, hell yeah. No, I like it. I'm going with Kenny Walker. I think he's just been so good down the stretch, and I mean throughout the year, really, without the injuries. I know he's pretty much. It's kind of not a very fun pick because it's pretty obvious, but that's just where I'm at with Kenny Walker. Abe.
So there's a couple guys that I thought about, and obviously injuries had a lot to do with that. Breece Hall was awesome until he got hurt. Chris Olave for a team that was not in playoff contention was really, really good. But Kenny Walker, Garrett Wilson are probably the two front runners. Mostly Kenny Walker because their team's in the playoffs and they kind of rode his back a little bit. But I'm going to be a homer here, and I'm going to take Christian Watson. Green Bay, I said a couple weeks ago when they played Minnesota, I said if Christian Watson's not playing and Keyshawn Nixon's not playing, Green Bay has no chance against Minnesota. What Christian Watson has done for Green Bay and for Rodgers and that team is huge. He stretches the field. He makes defenders. He just does a lot. And he did. He obviously had a stretch of 7 touchdowns in 5 games. He's not going to win this. There's no chance in hell he should win this. But what he's done for his team in that stretch to get to the position where they had to win and get in for the playoffs. Out of a number 1 wide receiver when you have no one else in the wide receiver, in the wide receiver game, I think that's pretty impressive. It should be at least spoke about. So I'm taking. I don't think he wins this, but I'm gonna make my case for Christian Watson as Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I like it. Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'll go first. Sauce Gardner. I'm sorry, he should be an All-Pro. I said that before the season started. I think. I don't know if on this show or whatever it was. I've loved him since he was at Cincinnati. He is phenomenal. He's a monster, and I think it's showing what is on the way. He's not, it's just going to get better from here on out. So you guys can go. You guys can argue over who you want to say first.
This is Rich once again.
No.
I
was going to say this is all Abe, man. Abe is always on point when we both made this same pick here. I mean, I got a few things. The only thing I'm going to say is, do you think Jaguars regret not taking him?
No, not at all.
You don't?
No. Walker.
Out of the top 3.
So.
Okay, but Walker, even added Thibodeau too and stuff like that. Out of these 3, who's going to be the less of the 3 in 5-10 years from now?
Thibodeau, maybe.
Okay.
I think
Walker.
I don't think there's that big of a difference between Walker and Hutchinson. I mean, I know Aiden Hutchinson had 3 interceptions, big fucking deal. That's not going to happen again. But I think those 2 guys, it's not like they one of them drafted Lawrence Taylor and one of them didn't. And I don't think they're going to be Lawrence Taylor. That's not what I'm saying. But they both have played extremely well, and I don't think that's going to change. It's almost like the whole Bryce Young draft thing. You can get a great guy at number 2 as well. And I think the line's it. Aiden Hutchinson's he's a dude, but I like Sauce better. But go ahead, Abe.
Go ahead, Abe.
Yeah. So defensive rookie, these are. I mean, obviously, I think these 2, Sauce and Hutchinson, are the are the clear-cut two favorites. And you hear more about Hutchinson because there's just been so many dandy lovers of the Detroit Lions the last 7 weeks. And so that's why I think he probably wins this. Everyone has loved this Cinderella story of them, making a run down the stretch, knocking Rodgers out. Everyone loves that aspect of it. And he's been awesome. He's been really, really good. But he's had to be awesome for them to be good. Whereas you have Walker with Jacksonville, they have enough pieces around them that they've had other things happen. They've had other rookies show up. They've had other free agents come in and be good. So I have Hutch as my defensive rookie of the year. I think that's just solely because of, the Lions are people love the Lions right now for a lot of reasons. So that's why I have Aiden Hutchinson as defensive rookie of the year. There's a lot of guys that can battle in that. But I just think Hutch, he probably wins that because of it. Sauce is in New York, which is, he's made for New York. He's, when he got drafted, he's like, this is where I want to be. I want the limelight. I want the spotlight. But ultimately Hutch, went to Detroit, was kind of quiet. He had a Sunday night game where he was really good and knocked out Green Bay to not make the playoffs. And I think ultimately that's kind of what pushes him over the edge.
Yeah. Comeback player of the year.
Any better than that?
Rich.
Yeah, I picked Hutchinson. I mean, like I said, I don't need to go much more depth than that and stuff like that. It just I get Sauce Gardner and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. I feel like defensive ends just have that more notoriety as far as being more upfront and personal. And when you think of defensive players, you think of defensive ends more than you think cornerbacks. You got great cornerbacks. I get all that and stuff like that. But everybody always go back. When you're drafting, what are you drafting to build your team around? QB and defensive end. That's how a team is built around, basically, and everything. So I don't know. Aiden Hutchinson for me.
All right, comeback player of the year. I like Geno. Country roads take me home. Being the Mountaineer. It's wild how well he played from where he came from. So, Rich.
Yeah, I'm going McCaffrey. After injury seasons, year after year, and everything, to have the season that he's had and everything, to me, it's McCaffrey.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Both these guys are probably it. One guy to kind of consider is Juju. I mean, he's taken a team where he's moved in there as their number one wide receiver outside of Kelsey. He's not going to win this award, but he's one guy that should probably be taken into consideration. But ultimately, CMC and Geno are by far the favorites to win this.
Hell yeah. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your Super Wildcard Weekend. We are pumped. We will see you next week. Talk about some divisional games, and we hope you have fun. Hopefully your team's still in it, because it's going to be a good weekend. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all next week. Keep staying positive and testing negative.